We are back here at the NHRA stage, SEMA 2019. Latest guest, JC Beattie from ATI Performance Products, and also, you can't see this, but his son James is with us watching on FaceTime down here as well. So checking in from home. ATI Performance Products is a legacy brand, not just in drag racing, but in the aftermarket. Multi-generational company. You guys have been at the forefront of automatic transmissions, dampeners, all kinds of stuff. So we got a load of stuff to talk about here, but let's start with the obvious. You're a guy who races the sportsman categories. You've got Copo Camaro, drag pack. Yeah, so
top sportsman car.
Yeah, top sportsman car. So let's talk about your family and let's talk about the history of ATI Performance.
Sure. My father started ATI in 1961 as a general repair facility and started doing a lot of power glides, turbo 350s, 400s, and here we are all these years later, and we're still flogging them. We're at the point now where we can do 100% new power glide or 400 or 350, and I go out and race them. It's it's R&D, it's marketing, It's testing, it's work, it's fun. My son gets to come with me, my daughter will come with me, and we really try to have a family fun event.
You guys, ATI, and you specifically, made one of the neatest videos a couple years ago on your Copo when you guys put the GoPro under the hood of that car to watch and see what happened to the belt tensioner when it went up on the two-step. I don't know if it's at 1 million views yet, but I know I've watched it about 100,000 times. It was a neat thing that no one really had ever looked at before, at least that I knew of, and it went nuts.
So that replays in my head every time I'm on the two-step. And that's why I'm never on the rev limiter that long on the two-step, and I preach to everybody else. Our top sportsman car is a 4.5-liter Whipple and an LS, the same package that was born from the Copo.
Yes.
And it's a 12 rib, and it makes 30 pounds of boost, so it's that much more violent.
Yikes.
And I did the same video, and we run that, and I made a whole new plate to tie everything together. Anything I learn or we do is an open book for any of our customers or any other racers. It's it's our passion, and our customers, it's their passion. So we want to pass that along to everybody.
When we talk about automatic transmissions in drag racing, when your dad opened the company in '61, you wanted to be fast, you had a 4-speed in your car in 1961. Yeah. Plain and simple. Like some of the junior stock guys, whatever, would have a glide with an iron case or something like that. Then as time goes on, we now live in an era where there are cars that make thousands of horsepower that use traditional style automatic transmissions. You guys not only build transmissions, but you also build components that go inside them.
Yeah, we sell a lot of parts and pieces to a lot of customers or guys that want to build stuff at home or other shops. We really pride ourselves on making American parts in-house in Baltimore, and we'll make them start to finish. That's bar stock, we're making chips, and we're doing hobbing, we're doing heat treating, we're doing grinding, CNC work. If I don't make it in-house, I tell you, and there is some stuff I buy, and that's just what you have to do to compete. But for us, our passion and my dad's passion was really making the parts. We've got 34 CNC machines.
You have 34 CNC machines.
34. I need some more people to run them. If anybody's a CNC operator and wants to make race car parts, come see us.
Which I understand is a huge problem across the country, right? Qualified CNC operators are at a premium and a shortage.
It is. It's a good job. It's it's nowhere near minimum wage, and you can make good money and run a machine. If we don't find some soon, it's all going to be robots, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's a wild deal.
We pride ourselves on a human, all the parts, working with their hands and making the piece, taking it off, inspecting it, and it's going to go in your race car. It's going to go on a NASCAR engine turning $9 grand or a comp eliminator motor turning 11. So we really put our heart and soul into every product.
In the time you've been with the company, what has been the biggest advancement in the automatic transmission in drag racing?
So the materials haven't changed too much, but the 400 case, which I did 7 years ago, really revolutionized. There were some other guys out there doing high-performance stuff like Mark Mickey and Rossler and Cone, and we focused on the glide. They went to the 400. Then we started getting into the 400. I made the case, and the case really allows you to run more line pressure. More line pressure allows you to have better clutch holding capacity, allows quicker shifts, better trans brake holding, quicker release. And then the lockup, of course, which you can run in Pro Mod with nitrous, is a whole nother era. And then we've got cooler pressure dumps and big main shafts. Cone makes a big main shaft. We've got a big input shaft. So we're a solid 4,000 horsepower on a lot of the 400s.
I think what's great about your company as well is you're a big part of NHRA drag racing, but you're a big part of drag racing, period. You guys support events in the radial tire world. You support events in the outlaw pro mod world. You support events in the sportsman drag racing world. And I think that says a lot about your customer because you're not solely concentrated on a very small piece of the sport. You really have your hand in everything.
NHRA Top Fuel Pro Stock. To me, that's the pinnacle of drag
Sure.
racing. Yeah, Street Outlaws is great. It's cool. People can relate with that and all the no prep and the prep. It's drag racing, and those guys are serious racers. Those guys could come to any NHRA track
and throw down,
and they can go A to B, and they're not going to be disappointed. Sportsman racers, your guys Dan Fletcher, Peter Biondo, Joe Santangelo, Mike Icahn, they're some of the best drag racers in the world, and inevitably I match up against those guys in first round. Everywhere I go, somehow, when I'm out there once a year with my
Oh, look, it's Dan
I'm
Fletcher
like,
at 9 a.m.
I go all the way to Indy, 168 cars. Oh, yeah, I have Peter Biondo first round. Awesome. And you know what? But again, the beauty of drag racing, any guy from anywhere can win that round, whether it's Fletcher, Biondo, or J.C. Beattie.
So outside of the transmission business, obviously your other main signature product, at least in my mind, dampeners. And your name is so synonymous with the quality level in that product. It's almost like when someone says dampener, you just think of ATI. I'm not just saying that because you're sitting here. You really are almost a default brand for anybody building a high-performance engine. How do those two businesses ever end up together?
I got the question today. I asked the guy, where does all my advertising dollars go? Because he's like, oh, you guys make transmissions? I thought you only made dampers. And vice versa all the time. So the damper, it does its job. No bull BS about it. It just does what it's supposed to. It's affordable. It's rebuildable. You're spending a bunch of money on a motor and front accessories. Why not get the best product you can there? There's other options for guys that are running street cars or turning different RPM. Sure, they're available. I'll tell you, if you don't need the damper, you don't always need it. But you know, SFI approved is obviously huge. We've seen some videos recently with stock dampers and other stuff coming up.
Brutal.
It's scary. You're looking down there setting timing on something spinning engine RPM, and then your 24-hour guys, they're turning that motor 10.5 million engine cycles. Drag racer will never see that in his lifetime.
No. And I'm all for the low buck LS guy that's building 1,000 horse motor for as cheap as he can. But I also know that there's a limit to where things need to be in place for everybody's safety, because when a stock dampener comes off an engine that's turning thousands of RPM, it is not something that just trickles across the racetrack. It is a legit projectile.
It tears off radiator and oil hoses, and God forbid it heads towards the stands, bounce off the concrete. So we really pride ourselves. You know, we use a lot of 4140 heat treat, billet 2024 aluminum. They take the damper, they spin it for 60 minutes at 10,000 RPM on a turbine, and then check fatigue on the material. Sometimes they'll order it direct from us for SFI. Sometimes they just say, they'll send us a bill. Hey, we ordered one from Summit, or we ordered one from Jegs.
Gotcha.
Just to spot check us, and it's great. You know, I do feel like drag racers take safety for granted, whether it's in the car or under the hood. I run my Copo. I've got a 15 suit, and I've got a fire bottle, stuff I don't need, a Hans, stuff I don't have to have per the rules, but why not? I want to go home and
I was going to say, you know why? Because James, the dude that's watching us down here on your phone, that's exactly why you have that stuff.
When we did his junior, he did his licensing runs, and he won a few rounds in his first divisional this year. I poured a seat for him. Yeah. You know, there's no pillows behind him or anything else. It's why not?
Yep. The right way to do business, which is what ATI has been doing since 1961. So, JC, one last question. Any more racing for you this year, or are you done? Because you're an East Coast guy like I am, and it's pretty much over with.
It's getting cold, and I left the car in the trailer. I only want to see it for a little while. We went out, I think, 14 times, 12 or 14, I lost count. A lot of times for trying to run the business and employees. I have a full-time guy at the shop finally that can help me get everything ready.
Cool.
And we have a lot of fun when we go out. Sometimes I go out and I break stuff, but that's just trying to make it better.
J.C. Beattie and ATI Performance Products, a huge part of NHRA drag racing. Whether you're talking about driveline components or dampeners, these are the dudes. We'll be back with more from SEMA right after this.